Everybody. It is pretty close to 2 o'clock or to 3 o'clock, like 12 minutes after. Yeah, I'm getting too good at that again. Okay. Copy that, post it, go over to Blue Sky, pull up the notifications of puzzle. That's yesterday's. There we go. This one I can reply to as well. Okay. Let me see. Is there something I can do to punch this up a little bit? Okay. How's that? Well, I can hear myself a little better. I had a solution for that, but that's a different issue. Okay. And maybe that. Okay, pump the gain back down again. Okay, let's go with, I'm going to be clipping a little bit. How about that? Still a little bit. All right, let's go with that, see if that helps. All right. Hi, everybody. I'm Rusty. We're playing Sudoku, and I get to load up a puzzle. This is supposed to be a medium puzzle, which means it can be anything from 20 minutes for me to solve or less. I think I've done a medium puzzle. I did yesterday's in 11 minutes and 59 seconds or 54 seconds or something like that. Or it can be very long to solve. Usually not much more than an hour for the mediums, but that does happen. I had a hard puzzle last Saturday that took me over, well, almost 2 hours. You can catch that stream if you want to see me struggle with that. As it is, let's see if we can solve this puzzle. I'm going to hit the check mark. If it validates, i.e. I didn't push any numbers wrong, that block or prevent it from solving, then we'll get a timer started. 20 seconds later, I will actually start. Okay, you got 20 seconds to grab a screenshot, do a print of it. Maybe you can solve it in pencil and paper faster than I can solve it on screen. And 45 seconds left. Not 45. And there's my 20-second mark. Okay, that's going to be a 1. One of these two is a 1. One of these two will be a 1. All kinds of possibilities here. And 3 possibilities there. So how about 2? Well, one of these 3 will... one of these 2 is going to be a 2. That means one of these 2 is a... Over here, I don't have much help in the way there. Got 3 possibilities there, 4 possibilities here, and 2 possibilities here. How about 3s? I get a 3 here, another one here, and one down here that says one of these 2 is a 3. Got 4 possibilities here, 4 possibilities here, 2 possibilities here. I've got a 3 here and a 3 here, which says one of these 3 will be a 3. So we're on to 4s. One of these, this one's going to be a 4. I've got 2 possibilities there. This one will be a 4. One of these 2 is a 4. And I've got 3 possibilities here. How about 5s? Well, I've got 2 possibilities for a 5 here. Oop, not there, maybe there, but not yet. One of these 2 is a 5. I've got 4 possibilities here. 5 possibilities here. These 2, all 6 of these are potentially a 5. And all four of these are, well, all 6 of these are potentially a 5. All right, 6s. One of these 2 is a 6. One of these 2 is a 6. This gets to be a 6. One of these 2 is a 6. This is a 6, meaning this is not, that is. And we are left with these 4 possibilities that we'll get to work through. We get a 7 here. 4 possibilities here for a 7, 2 here. One of these 3 is a 7. Okay, I've got 3 possibilities here. And 5 possibilities here. Okay, how about 8? I've got 2 possibilities there, 2 there, got 3 here. This gets to be an 8. This gets to be an 8, and now we're down to a single possibility there, and an 8 there. And I think, nope, not, yep. Okay, yeah, not this one. That's an 8. So we got all the 8s on the board. All right, one of these 2 is a 9 now. The other one is a 2, and that's not it. So that's a 2, that's a 9. All right. That means I've got 2 possibilities for a 9 here. One of these 2 is a 9. So this can't be. Unfortunately, that leaves 4 possibilities there. 3 possibilities. One of these 2 is a 9. And I've got 4 possibilities there. See, what else can we solve with this so far? Well, what do we need? We need a 1. That can't be a 1, so that's a 1. 2, 3, 4. Neither of those are 5s, so this is a 5. And this is a 5. Making this a 2, meaning this is a 2. Meaning this becomes a 2. That makes this into a 5. We got 9s here. 2 possibilities for a 9 here. Also 2 possibilities for 1, which means this one here is going to be a 7. Which goes with those 2, which means one of these 2 is a 7. One of these 2 is a 1. And the other is a 9. That makes one of these 3 a 9. Well, actually, what do we got left here? It looks like 1, 2, 3, 4. So it looks like one of these 2 gets to be a 5. Sorry, I've got an alarm. Telling me my blood sugar is too high, which is not a big surprise. All right, one of these 2 is a 5. One of these is a 2. That means one of these 3 is going to be a 3. No guidance over there yet, although we do have some. One of these 2 is going to be a 3. 7 is going to be one of these 3. And a 9 is going to be one of these 2. All right, that may help more in a little bit. And over here I have 1s, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One of these 2 is a 7. 8. One of these 2 is a 9. That makes this a 1, not a 1. 9, not a 9 here. Not a 9 here. 9 here. That means one of these 2 is a 3. One of them is a 7. Okay. That means where we put a 7 here kind of makes a difference. But at the moment, I've got 2 possibilities for a 1. We have 2 here. How about 3s? I've got 4 possibilities for a 3. 2, 4, 4. And that means down here, Okay, nope, I've got 4 possibilities for 5, 2 for 6, 4 possibilities for a 7, and we've got 8 and 9 on the board already for that square. Up here, well, for 2 ways, this can't be a 5. I've got 4 possibilities for a 5. Get the 2 possibilities for a 1, 2 for 2, 2 for 3. 4 is going to be one of these 3 spots. 5 we already mentioned on one of the 4 corners. Pair of possibilities for 6. There's a 7 and an 8. And then I've got 4 possibilities for a 9. Okay. This 9, however, says this can't be a 9. So that's going to be a 9, that's going to be a 4, that's going to be a 5. That narrows this down to 2 places for a 5. 2 places for a place for a 4, making that a 1. And then one of these 2 is going to be a 9. We got these 2 oh, this one can't be a 2. So that's a 2. This becomes a 5. And we just have to disambiguate this at some point. And the fixings for that are pretty much elsewhere here. Let's see. So 4 possibilities for a 7. This can't be a 1. That's a 1. That makes that a 4. That also means this can't be a 7, but I have 4 possibilities for that. In any case. One of these 2 is going to be a 5. 6. I've got one of these 2 for a 6. 3 possibilities for 7, 8, and 9. 3s. I've got 2 possibilities for 3. And that locks out, this is a 3, that's a 7, that's a 3, that's a 7, that's a 3. This is a 3, that's a 7. Does that help anything else? Well, we already know this can't be a 2, so that can't be a 2. That's going to be a 2, that's a 5. Not a 5, 5, 6, 3, 9, 6, 3, 9, 7. Oh, not a 9. Okay, I've got too many of something in this row. What is it? All right, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh. No. Oh, I got too many 9s here. This is not a 9. Yeah, that's not going to be a 5 anymore. Oh, that may make it a 5. All right. Let's go with that being a 5. So that makes this into a 7. 9 and 7 here. 9, 6, 3 here. 3, 6, 5 here. And then this can't be 1, so that's a 9. That becomes a 1. 9 here, 1 here to solve. Should be 1 to solve. It does not like the solution. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Ah, this can't be 9. What do we have too many of here? This can't be a 4. That means this has to be a 4. Okay. Let's start all over again. We ate 14 minutes in this first attempt, so I have to remember that. And we'll put in 1 there. One of these 2 is a 1. One of these 3 is a 1. I've got 5 possibilities here. And 5 possibilities here. 2 possibilities there. 3 possibilities here. 2. I've got, nope. These 2 don't get to be 2 because one of these 2 has to be. I've got 3 possibilities for a 2 here. 4 possibilities for a 2 here. 2 possibilities here. And 5 possibilities here. One of these 3 is a 3. One of these, nope, not that. One of these 2 is a 3. And let's see, I've got 4 possibilities here. 3 possibilities. 2 possibilities here. And here we've got 4 possibilities. 4s, that can't be a 4. One of these 3 is a 4. One of these 2 is a 4. One of these 2 is a 4. It's going to be this one, because one of these 2 has to be a 4. And sorry, screen bumped on me. Here, this one is going to be a 4. Not a 2. Oh, this is not supposed to be a 2. So that's supposed to be marked as a 2. All right. I think that's it for 4s. 5s. One of these 2 is a 5. I've got 4 possibilities here. 5 possibilities here. Everything's open for 5 here. Including this one. 2 possibilities for 5 here. 5 possibilities here. And I believe that takes care of all the 5s for now. 6s. One of these 2 is going to be a 6. One of these 2 will be a 6. This will be a 6. One of these 2 is a 6. This is going to be a 6, and not this one. That's a 6. And we move on to 7. This will be a 7. But one of these 2 is a 2, so that can't be a 2 anymore. That makes this a 2. And doesn't clean up anything else yet. However, let's go on. I've got 5 possibilities for a 7 here. 4 possibilities here. 3 possibilities here. 4 here. 2 here, which means I can clean up these 2 places. And 4 possibilities here. And then we move on to 8. And as I recall, 8 was the only one where I was able to solve for all possibilities in the first pass. So one of those 2 is an 8. That's going to be an 8. That makes that an 8. Means that's not. That is. That's not going to be an 8 now, so that's an 8. And that takes care of all the 8s. 9s, one of these 2 is going to be a 9, so the 1s are not there. And neither are the 5s, which means that can't be a 5 anymore. Looks like, yeah, we were down to those 3 in the corners anywhere. Ooh, we forgot to drop in the 5s here. We can do that to now for those 4. It would have been all 6 of them before. So those 2 are possible 5s. I've got a bunch of possibles there. Several possibles here. Oh, 9s here. We've got 3 possibilities for a 9 there. Everything possible there. And this is going to be a 2. That'll be a 9 there. Tidies up those 2. One of these 2 is going to be a 9, which means that's going to be a 9. We know 9 is going to be one of these 2, so that's a 9. And that means one of these 2 will be a 9. And now I've got the 9s all taken care of. So this can't be a 1, so it is a 5. That makes this into a 1, a 2, and a 5 here. 7, 9, 7, 9. This can't be a 9 now because of that 9. We've got a 5, 9, 5, 9 pair there. 4, 9, 4, 9, 3, 4, 6, 3, 6, 9. Okay. Two here, so not a 2 here or here. Makes that this into a 2. That makes that a 1. This is 7. And this becomes a 1. This cannot be a 5. So we've got a 7, 3 pair here. A 9 pair here. 1 here, so not a 1 there. 7, 5, 7, 3, 7, 5, 3. All right, not a 7, not a 7, so that's a 5, that's a 2. So not a 5 here. And that gives us a 7, 3 pair. And this cannot be a 2, neither can that. Anything else? Yeah, that can't be a 2. That's going to be a 2, and this will be a 5. So we clean up that 5 and that one. That 5 and that 5 go away as well. And hey, we can get rid of that 5. It's a 9. Get rid of the 9 there. 7, 3 pair. This one becomes a 4. This one becomes a 5. So not a 5 there. not a 4 here, making this a 4. This becomes a 1. This becomes a 7, 9, 7, 6 here, 5 here, not a 5, neither of those places. That makes this a 5. That can't be a 4, that can't be a 6, that's a 3, that's a 9. So we clean up the 3's here. Also clean up that 1, so nope, that's a 4 and a 6 now. Not a 4, not a 7, not a 7, that's a 3, that's the 1. So not a 7 here or here. Not a 3 here, making this a 7. This becomes a 9, this becomes a 3. 9 here, 3 here, 7. 7 here, 3 here. So 25, is it 24 or 25 minutes? I'm not going to go back. I'll call it 25 minutes. This was 10 minutes and 15 seconds. Add that to whatever we had before, 14 or 15 minutes. 25 minutes and 15 seconds, which really isn't bad for a hard puzzle or medium puzzle. It's not great. Don't get me wrong there, but it'll do for now. All right, I'll be back tomorrow with a hard puzzle, and we'll see if I can do a better job of solving the puzzle in hard mode. Have a good day, everybody. Bye-bye.